Good morning, everyone. Treasure Troller here from the mask-wearing militant state of Michigan, where we have more FBI agents and paid informants than we do actual conspirators in the plot to kidnap our governor and dictator, Gretchen Whitmer. So a couple of things today. The first thing is I saw that Dementia Joe had given a speech in Atlanta yesterday, and you know, he's coming out where he's just not going to stand for stuff anymore. He's not going to be quiet. He's going to be loud about it. He sounds like that. At first, he's kind of like that cool grandpa, you know, the one that that's always nice to you, and never, you can never really get in trouble with him. Every now and then he raises his voice, and then finally, if when I grew up, you know, the parents might take a yardstick to your backside, and that was bad, you know, it hurt, but you never wanted to have grandma, you know, get loose on you, because grandma just, you know, was it didn't matter where you got hit. You know, and Grandpa was cool. He just, and this was on my mom's side. You know, he was nicer than nice, and every now and then he might say, "Hey, I cut it out." Now, my dad's father, my grandfather on my father's side, he literally scared the shit out of me. I feared that man. He was old school. You know, he was from Dearborn. He worked at Ford. He was a union guy. He was a tough old SOB. He scared the hell out of me. But anyways, my grandpa, kind of the cool grandpa, you know, if you're goofing around, he'd kind of like, all right, knock it off. Knock it off. And then maybe he didn't knock it off, and then, all right, I told you, stop it now. He's going to say it out loud. And so you might stop, but you know he didn't really mean it. And that's like Dementia Joe. He's like the cool grandpa that you've irritated enough now where he's going to holler at you, but you know it doesn't mean anything. And also he said, you don't want to be like George Wallace. Now, how he was relating voting to George Wallace, I don't know. But I'll relate George Wallace to George Wallace. So most of you, probably 90% of you, would have to Google George Wallace to find out about George Wallace. So I'm going to tell you what I know about George Wallace off the top of my head. George Wallace was the governor of Alabama. George Wallace ran for president. And during the primaries, now this is where I'm pretty sure it was the primaries, George Wallace was actually shot by someone who was wearing, you know, Vote George stuff all over, and he became a paraplegic. George Wallace, if you guys watched Forrest Gump, at the scene where George Wallace was not going to allow a African-American girl into the University of Alabama, and he was at the steps, and that was sort of the scene from Forrest Gump. That was George Wallace. So he doesn't want you to be like George Wallace, but he forgot. Dementia Joe, he forgot. I mean, that's not surprising. But Dementia Joe forgot to tell you that George Wallace was a Democrat. So you absolutely do not want to be like George Wallace and be a Democrat. So that was... See if anybody says anything about that today. Yeah, you don't want to be like George Wallace. You don't want to be a Democrat. So I'm going to talk about something that I wanted to talk about initially tonight. So I was thinking about something that you just haven't heard in the news lately. But boy, when it happened, it was a crisis and people were in danger and what's going to happen with them. Now, I'm not saying they're still not in danger, but maybe this is the reason why they're not in as much danger as what we thought. And that is, remember all the U.S. citizens that got stuck in Afghanistan? Have you heard anything about that lately? Has it crossed anybody's? I mean, Glenn Beck sent planes there to get people. Have you heard anything about that? Because I sure haven't. But I Googled it. Yep, Googled it. So I'm going to let you in on a little information that might be why not such a big crisis anymore. Got to turn the light on, so, cover your eyes. I don't want you to get blinded. So this was on, I have to look on that. This was from actually yesterday. And it was an article about this, something very similar to this. And it was about the U.S. is sending $308 million to Afghanistan for food, water shortages, and due to the food and water shortages and the economic collapse. Now, if you think $308 million is a lot of money, and some may find it a bit obscene, well, you haven't heard anything yet. So that $308 million is just on top of what we sent them just about 4 months ago in October. So since October, we have sent over to Afghanistan $782 million. And that's for food, water, and the economic collapse. Well, because of the COVID, and that is, there probably isn't shit over there anyways. Because we're also sending 1 million doses of the vaccine through what's called the Global COVAX Initiative. So I think in total there's been like 4.3 million sent. But here's the thing, 80% of the 80% of the Afghan budget is financed by international aid. And see, these other companies say, well, since it's a bunch of radicals that are running the country, we're not going to send them any aid. And then Dementia Joe and the rest of the Democrats said, that's okay, we'll foot the bill. We'll take care of the tab. So we've sent, that's October, November, December. So this is going on 4 months. We spent almost $800 million. So that's our $782 million. Now that's obscene. So maybe now we know why there's not in as much danger as maybe what we thought. I mean, we're basically, not only did we leave probably that much and more in military supplies when we bucked out, we're giving them another $782 million. Probably could find a couple of helicopter pilots for that kind of money. So, and that is, of course, they've also got a few, I think they said about 10,000 people that have cleared like visas so that they can start getting those people out of the country. And geez, I wonder where they're going to end up. So that's all for today. I'm going to start on my other vlog, the other Trump vlog this morning as well. So 2 today, 2 for the price of nothing. So this is Treasure Troller saying aloha and good day.